You've been told your dream life is somewhere far away, something you must chase, fight for, earn. But here's the truth no one ever told you. That life isn't out there. It's here, now, staring back at you through the eyes you're using to read these words. Your future self isn't a stranger. It's not waiting at the end of some endless road. It's not locked behind healing, rituals, or years of struggle. It's already alive, already breathing, already watching. You are not separate from that version of you. You are entangled with it. Like two invisible threads tied across space and time. Pull one, and the other moves instantly. This is the mystery of the quantum field. A field that doesn't care about your words, your wishes, or your vision boards. It responds to one thing only: your frequency. Most people live their entire lives believing they must work harder, push more, hustle until they collapse. Even when they turn to spirituality, they repeat the same mistake. They try to visualize a better future while staying entangled with the version of themselves that doubts, delays, and sabotages. It's like trying to tune a radio to a new station while refusing to leave the static. It doesn't matter how much you want to hear the music. If you don't shift the frequency, you'll never catch the signal. The question isn't whether your dream life exists. It does. Right now, in another layer of reality. The real question is, why haven't you tuned into it yet? Maybe you've felt it before, a flash of possibility, a gut feeling that there's more for you, a sudden vision of yourself powerful, whole, free. That wasn't fantasy. That was your future self leaking through the cracks, reaching back, saying, "Come this way." But here's the catch. Most people ignore that signal. They've been trained to, through trauma, through repetition, through years of reinforcing an old identity until it feels like truth. And so they stay locked in the same timeline, stuck on repeat. The universe for a new reality, while staying entangled with the old self. The self that doesn't believe. The self that doubts. The self that waits. But what happens when you cut that thread? When you stop feeding energy to the old observer? When you step fully into the version of you that already has everything? That's when the field shifts. Instantly. Completely. Because the field doesn't need effort. It needs coherence. And coherence begins with one simple, powerful choice. Decide who you are, right now. Not tomorrow. Not after you fix yourself. Now. Take a breath. Feel your chest rise. Feel the air move in and out of your body. This is the proof. You're alive. You are already connected to everything you've ever desired. The signal has been active all along. The only thing missing was your awareness of it. In the next episode, we'll explore the field itself, why it listens, why it mirrors you perfectly, and why your life has always been reflecting not your words, but your vibration. Because once you understand the field, you'll never see reality the same way again. The universe is not a blank, silent space. It's a living field of information. A field that listens. A field that mirrors. A field that responds. Physics calls it quantum entanglement. Spiritual traditions call it oneness. But whatever name you give it, the rule is the same. Once two things are connected, they stay connected. no matter how far apart they seem. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. Two particles, once linked, continue to influence each other instantly. Distance doesn't matter. Time doesn't matter. The link is real. If matter behaves this way, why not you? You're not a lone particle floating in a void. You're a living, breathing field of consciousness. And just like those particles, you've been entangled. With people, with places, and most of all, try to manifest for years and see nothing shift. It's not their lack of effort, it's their signal. Deep down, the unconscious broadcast is still coming from the self that doesn't believe, that doesn't move, that doesn't act as if the new reality is already here. And here's where the field gets strict. The quantum field does not respond to want. It does not respond to begging. It does not even respond to visualization alone. It responds to frequency. And your frequency isn't determined by what you think about for 5 minutes a day. It's shaped by what you embody every moment, by how you speak to yourself when no one is listening, by the choices you make when nobody's watching. You are the observer, and the observer collapses the timeline. But here's the crucial question. What version of you is doing the observing? Because the field isn't judging you. It isn't testing you. It's listening. It's mirroring. It's reflecting exactly who you are being. And once you understand this, everything shifts. You stop trying to force reality to change. You start changing the signal you're broadcasting. You start choosing the identity you observe from. That's how entanglement becomes a tool instead of a trap. That's how your life stops being random and starts feeling designed. In the next episode, we'll go deeper. We'll walk into the sacred space where real quantum jumps begin. Not by escaping, but by collapsing the version of you that's anchoring the old timeline. Because before you can step into a new life, you must let the old observer die. Every leap begins with an ending, not a step forward, not a grand escape, but a quiet death. This is the truth no one wants to face. To quantum jump, you must let part of you die. Not your body, not your soul, but the identity you've been clinging to, the old self, the one built from fear, doubt, and survival, the one that keeps you looping beliefs, their excuses, their protective patterns. Don't judge them, just see them. Honor them for keeping you safe in the past, but know, their role is complete. Most timelines don't fade because they're resisted. They fade because they are outgrown. Grace dissolves them where force cannot. Step 2. Sever. This is the moment of truth, the shift in entanglement. Speak a simple declaration, out loud or inside yourself. This is no longer who I am. I release this version of me. I collapse this observer. You may feel resistance, a tightness in your chest, a voice screaming, "Don't let me go!" That's normal. The old self will fight for its life. But here's the key. It only has power if you believe its voice is still yours. Stand firm. Hold the line. Let it dissolve. Step 3. Choose. Once the field clears, a space opens. This is where you step into your new identity, not through thought, but through embodiment. Stand like them. Breathe like them. Decide from their energy. Don't just ask, what would the version of me who has everything do? Ask, what does that version no longer tolerate? And stop tolerating it now. Every choice from this moment forward reinforces the new entanglement. Every decision is a vote for the timeline you are activating. This is why quantum jumping isn't about escape. It's about reclamation. You're not running from your life. You're reclaiming the power to decide who is observing it. Remember, the field doesn't care about effort. It cares about coherence. And coherence comes when your being, your actions, and your choices all align. Most people never take this step. They cling to the old self even while begging for a new reality. But you are different. You are ready to let go. Because only when the old observer dies can the new timeline be born. In the next episode, we'll explore what happens after the leap. The strange signals, the echoes, a familiar frequency, and your body is still catching up. Most people interpret this discomfort as proof that nothing worked. They think, see, I'm still the same, nothing changed. So they collapse back into the old observer, not because it was better, but because it was familiar. Don't do that. This is the test, not of strength, but of clarity. Reality doesn't shift like a door opening. It shifts like a code rewriting itself. Old programs try to run before they vanish. They whisper, "Stay. It's safer here." This is the moment where you anchor the jump. You don't force it. You don't fake it. You respond from the new identity even while the old noise is still loud. When fear knocks, answer as your highest self. When the bank account still shows scarcity, breathe abundance. When the relationship still feels stuck, speak from wholeness. Every time you choose the new observer, in thought, in feeling, in action, you stabilize the field. This is what coherence looks like in practice. It's not fireworks. It's consistency. The universe isn't testing you. It's listening. And every subtle vibration you emit tells it who you believe yourself to be. For a while, there will be overlap, mixed signals, ghost frequencies. The old identity will try to pull you back. Not as punishment, not as failure, just as an echo fading out. Discomfort is not proof you're wrong. Discomfort is proof the old code is breaking. So breathe. Stay calm. Keep choosing. Each time you remember, each time you return to the new identity, you retune the field. Eventually, the static clears. The noise fades. The new station comes in strong. This is the invisible work of quantum jumping. The work no one shows you. The recalibration. The moment you prove to yourself that the shift wasn't a spark. It's a signal you can sustain. In the next episode, a signal. Every signal stabilizes the field. Because the quantum realm doesn't reward effort. It reflects consistency. This is the quiet power no one teaches. You're not faking it until you make it. You're feeling it until you stabilize it. There's a difference. Over time, not years but energetic cycles, the old frequencies lose strength. They fade. What once felt like trying becomes natural, effortless, obvious. At some point, without noticing, you look around. The external has changed. Not because you forced it, but because you became unshakable in your frequency. You stopped reacting from lack. You stopped negotiating with limitation. You stopped giving airtime to the self that never believed in you. When that voice no longer dominates the channel, reality has no choice but to update the script. Anchoring isn't about perfection. You will wobble. You will forget. You will slip into old patterns sometimes. But each time you remember, each time you breathe and return to the new identity, you retune the field. This is what living in quantum awareness feels like. Jumping isn't something you do. It's something you become. A rhythm, a signal, a state of being. And then, one day, the new identity stops feeling like a mask. It stops feeling like a performance. You no longer debate with old thoughts. They don't belong to you anymore. They were echoes from a previous field. They dissolve because you stopped feeding them. This is the real integration, where decisions feel quieter but deeper, where responses come from truth instead of protection, where life rearranges itself not as a reward, but as a reflection. Take a breath now. Not just for your lungs, but for your timeline. Feel what's different in your body, not what you hope, what you already know. That's your signal. That's your anchor. That's your proof. From here, the work is simple. Live as if this is normal. Because when it becomes normal, it becomes always responding. Always mirroring your next signal. If you stop growing, if you stop listening, the echo of the old self can creep back in quietly. Not as punishment, not as failure, but as an invitation. A whisper. Are you still awake? Are you still choosing? The field doesn't hold grudges. It simply reflects the state you are being. Moment by moment, breath by breath. Life as a signal. Here's the secret. You don't have to maintain your new reality through constant control. You maintain it by living as a signal. Every word you speak, every action you take, every thought you nourish, they are all signals. When you walk into a room, people feel your frequency before you say a single word. When you make decisions, the universe responds instantly. Because it's not listening to what you say, it's listening to who you are. You've seen this before. A moment when someone walks in and the whole energy shifts. They didn't do anything dramatic. They simply are. That's the power you hold now. The question is, will you wield it consciously or unconsciously? Daily micro-jumps. Quantum living doesn't require giant leaps every day. It thrives on small, consistent choices. Ask yourself each morning, which version of me is waking up today? Then, throughout the day, pause and breathe before decisions. Don't ask, what do I want? Instead, ask, what does my chosen self no longer tolerate? Every tiny, aligned action is a micro-jump, a recalibration, a reinforcement of your new timeline. Over time, these small shifts build momentum, and what once felt extraordinary becomes ordinary, natural, automatic. Integration through relationships. Here's where it gets real. Not everyone around you will understand your jump. Some will feel threatened. Some will cling to the version of you they've always known. Others will be magnetized by your growth. Your dream life isn't waiting ahead of you. It's woven into every choice you make right now. Every breath is a declaration. Every moment, a quantum vote. So live boldly, speak clearly, move with intention. Because the world isn't just watching you, it's listening. And with every signal you send, you remind the field and yourself, I am already here.